Hello, everyone. It's me, Kevin, and today we're going to do a movie review on Fantastic Beasts and the Crimes of Grindelwald, or the Crimes of Grindelwald. So this movie came out last week Friday, and I made a vlog showing my experience on going to the theater, watching it, and what I thought after it. Now that review is spoiler free, so go check that out if you want a less no spoiler video. Here, it's going to be spoilers, so it's probably a long video, probably 40 minutes. Hopefully it isn't. I haven't checked yet, but or I haven't even started actually. Well, I just started now, so. But yeah, that's not the case right now. Anyway, my thoughts on the movie is I love it, but it does have some issues that I have. They're not big issues, but I'll get into it in this review. But yeah, so Fantastic Beasts and Crimes of Grindelwald is, I'm pretty sure, written by J.K. Rowling and is directed once again by David Yates, who directs basically every single Harry Potter movie now. Because since Order of the Phoenix, he's directed every single Harry Potter movie and Fantastic Beasts, these two Fantastic Beasts movies. So, yeah, and this movie is a bit strange because this is actually the first Harry Potter movie, if you check on Rotten Tomatoes, that is actually rotten, or Wizarding World movie now, as it is now, because that's the franchise name. Which is a bit curious, because it seems that this has kind of, not divided fans and critics, but more has it's gotten a more negative reaction, I think. I think fans enjoy it more than critics do. But there are some fans who are also, the fans themselves are a little split on this movie as well. And we'll talk about why that's probably the case. But yeah, so time for my review on the movie, and let's start with the story. So the movie begins 3 months after the first Fantastic Beasts movie takes place, and and the end of that movie, we know he's captured. He's obviously taken to prison. Here we see that he's going to be transferred from America to Europe so he can face trials for his crimes in Europe. So, yeah, while he's being transferred, though, they're transferring him through a carriage. While they're transferring him, though, it turns out that he actually swapped places with another employee. So that means the person that's in the carriage is not actually Grindelwald, it's actually an employee. And then Grindelwald apparates to the carriage and kills everyone there, all the Aurors guarding it, and except the employee that was an imposter. Now this scene is pretty cool. I really like it. It was pretty dark actually, and I really liked it. The build up of suspense that is coming. They really built up the suspense really well. So yeah, Grindelwald and the employee escape and go to Europe, and then tighter crawl. So after that, we meet up with our protagonist, or familiar face, Newt Scamander. Now, Newt Scamander wants to go to Paris because he finds out that Tina is there, and Tina is actually jealous because, she find out in a magazine that Newt was engaged to Leta Lestrange, when it turns out, no, it's his brother that's engaged to Leta Lestrange, not Newt. And she's jealous because we do find out that in the first movie, in Fantastic Beasts, that he is actually Leta is an old friend to Newt Scamander. So that did kind of break her heart a bit, So now she's dating and such. But the reason Tina is in Paris is to find Credence, who is an Obscurus, and we also know most of Credence in the last movie, in Fantastic Beasts, who we thought died, but actually is alive, and is actually in the circus right now. So anyway, Newt wants to go to Paris to tell, his feelings to Tina and stuff and clear all that up. So he goes to Paris with Jacob. Now Jacob and Queenie's relationship is complicated now, because despite the fact that Jacob now remembers magic and, everything in the magical community, the wizarding world, everything, despite that, their marriage is more complicated because due to the anti-nomage laws that we found out in the first film, he can't marry Queenie. Now Now, Queenie really wants to marry Jacob, but because Jacob doesn't want Queenie to get in trouble, he like refuses to, he doesn't want Queenie to get in trouble, so he refuses to break the law and such. So this due to this, like, they kind of have an argument about it. Or what happened was, like, Queenie used a love potion on him, to, well, forcefully marry him. Like, he does want to marry her, but it's a bit weird. I don't know, I don't want to think about it but what I'm trying to say is, like, when Newt forces Queenie to lift the enchantments off of Jacob, they then start to have an argument about, like, you can't marry me because the laws are, say so, and you're gonna get in trouble. But Queenie's like, you're a coward and such because, you don't want to get married or whatever. You're just afraid you're gonna get caught or whatever. This leads to Queenie leaving Jacob in the streets of London, or just, leaving to find his sister, So, yep. So that happens, and then Newt and Jacob go to Paris while Queenie's looking for her sister in Paris. Like I said, the reason Tina is in Paris is because Credence is there, and he's actually in a circus, like I said earlier. Now, people wonder why he's actually in the circus, but I think the reason for that is because I think he tried to find a way to travel to Europe, and I'm guessing a circus was the best option for him, so he took that. Now, this is actually the act or performance or night or whatever, where Credence is actually going to escape the circus and try to find about his identity and heritage and stuff. Now, before he does, he actually talks with Nagini, and and you can tell that he actually sympathizes with her because, how she is mistreated in the circus, and, seeing how Credence is mistreated in, with his foster family, he kind of does take that a bit too personally. So he and Nagini escape, and, they escape, and chaos and stuff. Now, Tina actually, due to the circus, runs into or meets up with Zuzuf, I think. How do you say that? So anyway, Tina meets Zuzuf because, she saw him in the audience on the night Credence escaped the circus. So Newt and Jacob actually later meet up with Zuzuf because they find out that he actually met up with Tina. So Newt asks him, hey, do you know where Tina is? And he's like, sure, I'll show you. But it turns out that Tina was in a cell, and they got tricked, and they were in the cell with Tina as well. But they were able to escape, and they found out that Zuzuf was actually made an unbreakable vow to kill Credence. So after that, Newt and Tina decide they should infiltrate the Ministry, or the French Ministry of Magic, and to find information on Credence's identity. Now, during this, this is where Newt is finally able to explain the whole situation with the mistake on the article, and was also able to sort of reveal his feelings to Tina by saying she has the eyes of a salamander. So this one requires some explanation. Alright, so earlier in the film, like when Jacob was telling Newt, like, what are you going to say to Tina? Like, Newt said that he was going to tell Tina, you have the eyes of a salamander. Now, this was used as a joke first, but then, like, when Newt explained, tried explaining of how, like, Tina has the eyes of a salamander, it actually turned from a joke into a more touching moment, which I really liked how the film used a joke to that. But yeah, now back to the story. So yeah, after that, they soon meet up with Lita, and then their search for information on Credence's identity would eventually lead them to a rally of Grindelwald. Now, before the rally of Grindelwald actually began, or before they actually went in the rally itself, they meet up, like Lita, Tina, and Newt were able to meet up with Jacob, Zuzuf. There's also, who else? There's also Nagini and Credence, and I think, yeah, that's it. So we get this huge plot twist where we find out that the reason Zuzuf wants to kill Credence is because he actually made an unbreakable vow to kill Credence, because Credence is actually a Lestrange, and, like, Zusov's father wanted to kill Credence's father's son so he can get back at Credence's father. You know, like, I'll explain this whole plot twist thing in more detail later on in this video, but that's the, the shortened version of it. So Zuzov is about to kill Credence, but then Lita comes out and explains that she actually killed the son that Zuzov is made a vow to kill, which means that Credence is not actually Lestrange, and that the real one actually died, from drowning, that she caused. I'll explain later on. But yeah, so that happens, and Credence is once again disappointed about not knowing about his true heritage or name or something like that. He doesn't know his parents now, that. So yeah, that was a pretty big plot twist, and I'll explain more later. So yeah, when they go in the rally, Jacob meets up with Queenie. Now, Queenie is actually in the rally because, like, earlier, while she was looking for her sister, she actually was able to run into Grindelwald. Now, Grindelwald, he was able to calm her down by basically giving a little speech to her about how he wants to create a world where people can love and marry whoever they want. So Queenie is actually pondering over this and such, thinking on whether, would that be a world, like, in a world where, in Grindelwald's views, would that be good or bad or something like that? Like, her expressions sell on that she's pondering and such, which I really like. So anyway, in the rally, we get to see Grindelwald's speech. He get to speak on his mind and such. Now, we learned a few things, like he doesn't hate muggles and such, which I did find a bit surprising, actually. But here's the big part of his speech. He says that the wizards should dominate the world because he had a vision that World War II is going to happen, and there's going to be a big war, people fighting, many lost their lives, and then the atomic bomb. The way they showed us World War II was pretty good. I like it how they're using real world events and showing how the wizard community will react to it. So that's what I'm more excited for Fantastic Beasts 3, 4, and 5. I wonder how they're going to add that World War II stuff. Like, I'm interested in seeing how they're going to implement that. So there's that. Everyone's shocked, and I was even shocked that they even showed it, although I did see something like that in the trailers, though. During the speech, he also reveals that Aurors are in the room. Now, if you don't know what Aurors are, they're basically like a dark, they basically they're basically trying to catch bad wizards or such. They're kind of like the police, kind of. So yeah, Grindelwald is able to use the auras to show that they are the bad guys and that Grindelwald is the good guy, even though he's actually pulling the strings. And then he's able to use his followers to turn against the Aurors, and he orders most of his followers to leave, leaving the most of the main characters and also some of his followers. Then Grindelwald casts a blue line around him and asks, well, actually not line, circle, but anyway, he asks the rest of the people left in the room to join him. And actually, the surprising thing is, Credence and Queenie actually join him. Wait, what? Okay, now, the reason Credence joined Grindelwald is because Credence in this entire movie was trying to find out about his identity, his family, something, a relative. And he's had trouble with that. Part of it because Grindelwald is actually, trying his best not to get him to know his true heritage yet, because Grindelwald actually wants Credence to take down Dumbledore, his equal. But yeah, so anyway, that's why Credence joined, because he thinks Grindelwald could help tell him about his identity. And Queenie actually joined because, she thinks that Grindelwald can make it so she and Jacob can marry and, have a happy life. But in joining Grindelwald, they both leave two people behind. Queenie leaves behind Jacob, and Credence leaves behind Nagini. Kind of heartbreaking, but with the Nagini part, it wasn't that heartbreaking if they showed more of her, and I'll go into that in my characters review, but yeah. So yeah, most of the Aurors didn't join, so most of them died due to the blue flames, and like during this, during this, it seems like Grindelwald's about to kill Newt and Theseus. He says like the thing that he said in the trailer. Do you think Dumbledore will mourn you? But then Lita comes up, and it looks like she's about to join Grindelwald. But then, shock, she's actually distracting Grindelwald so the others can escape, like the rest of the main characters. So during this, Grindelwald kills Lita, which was a bit of a sad moment actually, because she's actually one of my favorite characters now. But so yeah, that happens, and Newt, Theseus, and the rest of the main characters left basically have to leave the rally. But then, the blue flame that Grindelwald made, basically leaves the rally area and starts attacking and stuff. So they have to destroy the blue flame, or it's going to destroy Paris. So then we get this awesome action scene where they like try to take it down and stuff, and we do get a cool moment where we get Nicholas Flamel actually fighting it as well, who we did see earlier in the film, and I'll get more into Nicholas Flamel later. But yeah, so they defeat the blue flame, and then we get a nice moment between the Newt and Theseus. I'll go into more character detail later. But yeah, so that happens. They destroyed the blue flame, saved Paris, but Grindelwald escaped. So Newt and the rest of the main characters, or what's left of them and the good guys' side, go to Hogwarts, where Newt is actually going to meet up with Dumbledore. Now, early in this movie, we actually see Newt meet up with Dumbledore because Dumbledore asks Newt to take on Grindelwald for him. Now, the reason Dumbledore didn't want to go against Grindelwald is because he made a blood pact with him. He made a blood pact, where they swore not to fight each other. But now that Newt has the blood pact, that means that if they somehow destroy it, Dumbledore could go against Grindelwald. But this is the ending of the film now. But this is the most surprising plot twist in the entire movie. So Grindelwald is in Austria, and he's talking to Credence, and he says, he names him. He says like, you're gonna have to kill your brother or something, and then he says like, he calls him Erlesius Dumbledore. Wait, so you're telling me that Credence is a Dumbledore? Wait, what? Boom, that's the end of the film, and what? Dumbledore's brother? I'm going to go into more detail in the plot twist part. But yeah, so that's the story of the film, and now we're going to talk about the characters. Alright, so if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of stories here. Now, here's what I mean. There's like Newt's and Tina's story, the romance story. There's also Jacob and Queenie's story about the whole, romance story as well, but, complicated romance story. There's also Lita's story. There's also Newt and Theseus' story. There's also Yusuf's story. There's also Credence and Nagini's story, and there's also Grindelwald's story. There's a lot of character stories here, actually. And I'm not saying that this movie is a big mess, as people are saying, because I think what's keeping all these characters' stories together is actually Credence. Like, that's the one thing that's keeping them all together. So when people say it's a mess, it's actually really not. Because when you look deep down inside them, like, they all lead up to Credence. Like, Credence is the main reason why many of these characters' actions are there, kind of. Well, not the main reason, but they're all connected to Credence. So, yeah, that's what I want to explain. But yeah, so I do like each of these characters' stories, actually. I liked all of them. And I liked like the new, well, I actually like Newt's and Tina's story where, like, Newt has feelings for her, Tina has feelings for him. I really liked the romance part between these two. Like, I do think it was pretty good. They did hint it in the Fantastic Beasts movie. If you don't know on how they hinted it, well, like, it's parallels with the Hogwarts Express where, like, okay, in a Philosopher's or Sorcerer's Stone, in the movie, as I remember, I don't know about the book, but in the movie, like, Hermione says, like, and you are, and then, you know, she says, you got something on your face. Now, in Fantastic Beasts, Tina asks, who are you? And Newt asks, you got something on your face. And like I said, like, Hermione says, you got dirt on your nose with Ron, to Ron. And so, yeah, they did hint this, like, love story that's going to possibly happen. And they continue to expand on it. And I really liked it. I liked it. Although Jacob was still comic relief, they did give his character, like, they did develop his character more on how, how he loves Queenie and such, but he doesn't want her to get in trouble and stuff. And they expanded Queenie and Jacob's, like, love story, but also their characters. I really liked it. And although people didn't like the twist where, like, or the part where she joins Grindelwald, like how it makes no sense, I like it actually. It was very interesting how they actually made her do that. Like, people say transition was like, what? Why would she join, like, Grindelwald? It's because she loves Jacob so much. In fact, they even hinted how she would she would be willing to not listen to the president's order herself. Like, if you watch the first Fantastic Beasts movie, she said she was willing to like have Jacob come live with her, protesting or breaking, like, the president's orders on obliviating Jacob. So this doesn't seem out of character at all. And seeing how they shown how she really loves Jacob, she wants to marry him, I really liked it. Like, it makes sense. It's not, like, out of character for her, I think, in my opinion. There's also Lita Lestrange, and she is one of my favorite characters. Now, I didn't go into much detail in her in the stories along with some other characters in the story part, but that's because this story has, like, lots of characters that I want to talk about each of them in this part. Now, her story is basically that of of someone with guilt. Her story parallels with Dumbledore. Now, if you don't know Dumbledore for some reason, and you're watching my video, then I don't know why you're here at all. But anyway, Dumbledore, like, we all know that, he had a sister named Ariana, and, she was sadly killed when Grindelwald, Dumbledore, and Aberforth all went into a duel against each other. And, like, Dumbledore, although they didn't know who killed Ariana, they all were, like Dumbledore felt very guilty about it. He feels very guilty about it. He thinks it's his fault, all of that. With Lita, her story is she had a brother, well, half-brother, who, like, she switched babies, actually, and, like, when the ship was sinking, and then, like, but her half-brother, who was with another person now, like a different mom, actually, like, the boat that her half-brother was in actually sank, and he drowned. So Lita had to live through all of her life, the rest of her life, with that guilt that she killed her half-brother. And I really liked it how they hinted at that first. Like when we're at that Boggart scene and the, like, flashback scene, yes. Like, when we were at that flashback scene where they're showing a Boggart where it shows your deepest fear, it showed a baby, but in a blanket. Like, you couldn't tell as a baby first, but I was thinking, is that someone falling down water? It looks like an ocean, kind of. And they did a good job of setting that up, actually, showing how she still feels very guilty about it. And now, she wasn't going to say anything much about it until Credence most needed it. Was about to be killed, but then she came up and said, nope, he's not my half-brother. He's actually half-brother, I keep saying, because I think she is his half-brother, or, like, something like that. But, like, she explains how Credence is not related to her at all. I really liked it. They did a good job with her character, and it was sad to see her go, actually. It was sad when she had to get killed by Grindelwald. I was like, no. No, like she seemed like a nice person, and I'm glad like J.K. Rowling added another Slytherin to like, because we usually get lots of bad Slytherins, but there's a few good ones like Slughorn and Snape and now Lita. And we also have Theseus's story, Newt's brother, and at the beginning of the film, like you could tell that like when Newt first meets Lita, we then get to see Newt's brother, and you can tell he has a complicated relationship with him. Now, I kind of wish they did go into more detail about it, but seeing how there's lots of stories, I guess they didn't want to too much focus on each story, or that'd be bad. But anyway, you could tell they do have a complicated relationship, because brothers usually do. And also because, he's engaged to Lita, they're gonna marry and stuff, and Newt's kind of, I guess, a bit heartbroken by that, but yeah, so there's that. And but anyway, like when they try offering Newt to be an aura to hunt down Credence and kill him, they said Newt disagrees and declines, rejects the offer, and Theseus tries to convince him, but he's like no. But then he's just like, here, come here. Then they hug, and it was a bit awkward. But then later on the movie, after Lita died, after they fought the big blue, like the blue flames, like Newt offers a hug to his brother, and it was very touching. Like it was kind of sad actually, because now that, because his fiance is now gone, and you know sacrificing herself for Theseus, and it was kind of sad. It was really sad. Another character that I have not mentioned that I should have is Credence. Now, Credence I really like in this movie. You feel bad for him because because he wants to look for who he is, who's his family, all of that, and you really feel bad for him when he's failing at finding who his family is, and it's really sad. Like there's this one moment where he finds well his his family's servant, because we find out that he's not a Lestrange, but you do feel bad for him because before the twist actually happened, like she said that Credence was a beautiful boy, you know all that. She was telling him how they had to put him in a foster family, so they could take care of him, and then she gets killed on purpose actually, because Grindelwald sent a Auror, who is actually working for Grindelwald, not the Ministry, to kill Credence, but Grindelwald sent this Auror to kill that lady, which was pretty sad, and it was sad. I was like, how dare you, Grindelwald? It's your fault. So yeah. Now another character that I have to mention is Nagini. Now, when we saw in the trailers that Nagini was actually a person that can turn to a snake, I did feel that was a strange change, but I was like, I don't know, as long as her character is good, that's fine. But here's the thing. Her character, like I said earlier in the video, I said that she was kind of mistreated in the circus, and I was like, oh, they're building up her character. This could be good. But then they don't really give her that much character, to be honest. She's just there. That's all she is in this movie. She's just there. And that does disappoint me a bit, how they didn't really talk about her, or how she didn't get many scenes actually. She's just there. That's all I have to say. And that does disappoint me a bit, but then again, we might get more in the other movies. But that does concern me, though, because now we have lots of these characters, and we're going to have another movie, which means we're probably going to get more characters. That means, how are you going to make this less of a mess? Because I'm worried the next 3 movies are going to become a big jumbled mess. Here, it's not a mess, but it really worries me, because there's so many stories here that in the next movie, we're probably going to get, if they continue this trend of adding more characters, we're going to get, a big pile of spells in one wand. Sorry for that joke. But anyway, there's that. That does worry me a bit, but Nagini, I hope like maybe J.K. Rowling did this on purpose, and she has Nagini for the next movie. We'll get to know more about her character and stuff, and see how she becomes from, I guess, a good person to evil person that eats people, which is sounds like cannibalism now that I think about it. But yeah. So, final person, who is the title of the movie, Grindelwald. I'm going to talk about this like the title thing later, but here's the thing. I liked Johnny Depp's performance as Grindelwald. Also, I forgot to mention another character, but I'll get there soon. Johnny Depp's Grindelwald was pretty good. Now, I said in the Fantastic Beasts review, or I think I did, where I said I was kind of disappointed because he was just like, he didn't really give that much to the character. He's just like, shall we die a little or something? I don't know. Like, his line was kind of dumb, stupid. He looked ridiculous, and there wasn't much. I think that was the main problem I have with Fantastic Beasts. There wasn't much of Grindelwald. He was just there. Like, they set him up good, but then, at the end, he was just there for 2 seconds and then gone. But now, in this movie, they give him more focus, and he's more good. I actually liked this Grindelwald. You could, like, he had a dangerous, most powerful wand. We know that, but here's the thing. That's not what makes him so dangerous, like how powerful of a wizard he is. Well, kind of does. But what makes him most dangerous is how he's able to persuade others to his side. He was able to do it with Queenie. He was able to do it with Credence. Like, he is, like, that's what makes him a little terrifying. He's able to convince others to his side, and he does it really well. Now, people say that he's maybe a bit too sympathetic because of the whole, let's stop the end of the world thing. But you have to realize, he did kill some people. He killed, like, those Aurors. He killed Lita. He ordered, like, an Auror to kill, like, someone so Credence couldn't know about his heritage. He even ordered some of his followers to kill two like a mother and a father, and also a little child. That's dark. But yeah, so there's that, and there's Grindelwald there. But now here's the final character I haven't mentioned, I think. Dumbledore. Now, I haven't mentioned him a bit, but Jude Law's Dumbledore is, I like it. He is really good in this role. Like, he perfectly shows how a young Dumbledore would be. He is, although he's still a bit vague at times, it does give him well, okay, here's what I mean. This guy perfectly portrays Dumbledore as who he is. And he probably portrays him better than Richard Harris in the first 2 Harry Potter movies and Michael Gambon in the the rest of the Harry Potter movies. He may play better than both of them because he is really good in this role. You could see the torment in his mind when, in the Mirror of Erised. That is seen as really good. He acts perfectly well as kind of like a vague, person, how he kind of likes to mess with people. But yeah, so I really liked this Dumbledore. He was good. He was kind of hilarious as well. But yeah, they did a good job with Dumbledore here. But yeah, so I think that's all the characters I can think of now. Wait. So yeah, now we're going to go on to expanding the universe and / fan service. Okay, so in this movie, we get to see some new spells, and I really do like these spells. Like, there was this one spell where Newt, like, basically shows us, like, that you can know where someone was at last time. Okay, this was a little convenient, but, like, he made this spell, like, Revelio, I think, where he was able to see other people's past movements, like, their footsteps, where they walked. Kind of does make sense that they would do that. I mean, that probably does exist. We do get to see some new cool creatures. Like, I forgot what the one creature was called, but it looked like a lion with stuff. I don't know what it was, but it was pretty cool. There was also this, like, water creature that was, that leaves and stuff. I don't know. Like, you do get to see some classics, like the Niffler and the Bowtruckle again. I really did like those creatures. They were pretty cool. But anyway, let's talk about the other stuff. Like, obviously, Dumbledore's in this movie, and he is good, like I said. He is very good in this movie. There's also some other expanding universe stuff and also some fan service now. Where do I begin? Let's start with the fan service. Now, like I said in my first Fantastic Beasts review movie, I said that it was surprising how this movie didn't rely too much on fan service. This movie relied a bit more, and I don't hate it. I actually do like it, and I thought I was enjoying. Like, we got to see Hogwarts and listen to the Harry Potter theme in theaters. I was like, yes, yes, yes! I get to listen to the Harry Potter theme in theaters. Yes. I get a little emotional now when I watch or see Harry Potter in theaters or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, we got to see Hogwarts. It was pretty cool. I really liked how they show, hey, it's Hogwarts. You all love this, right? So I did like that. Now, there was this one change that really did bother me. Or like, no, there was this one fan service that bothered me, and that was the McGonagall name. Here's what I mean. They mentioned that McGonagall is actually in this movie. What? Now, this makes no sense, because, like, she was born in 1935, and this takes place in 1927. So, what? How does that make sense? This makes no sense, because, like, she was born in 1935, like I said, and some of you might say, maybe it's his grandmother or something. No, it can't be. That makes no sense, though, because here's the thing. I think they said, like, his mother, like, was a wizard, or her mother was a wizard, but she exiled herself from the wizarding world. So that makes no sense at all. Like, this is a plot hole that makes no sense. This kind of ruins the continuity a bit. Now, I don't know. I don't think you could fix this continuity issue or not. Like someone mentioned that in the screenplay book that I have, this is just the original screenplay, that it was Minerva McGonagall, which means this, like, what was the point of the name? Like, that was fan service at its not worst, but like just makes no sense. Like, they didn't need it. Like, what was the point of having Minerva McGonagall in this movie? It was just a name. Like, they just mentioned it and they were like, there you go. There you go, Harry Potter fans. Here's the name. We'll mention the name, show you a character, and none of it will make that much sense. That's one issue I had. Like, the fan service did go a little too far with that. You know, like McGonagall being in this movie. There's that. There's also McLaggen, who's in this movie. Now, I think it's his grandfather. I was like, yeah, he's not a jerk. The McLaggans weren't jerks, I guess. Maybe, but I don't know why they mentioned it, but I guess they were like, fan service, so I don't hate that fan service compared to McGonagall. Is much better, actually. You do get to see most of Hogwarts, including Quidditch, which was pretty nice. There was also, what else? Yeah, there was like, wait, let me think. There was also Nicholas Flamel. Now, Nicholas Flamel was kind of used as a joke here, but he was also pretty awesome because, like when he was used as a joke, kind of, he was just like, Nicholas Flamel. You know, because he's like immortal, basically. Well, yeah, he's immortal and he's an alchemist, as he mentioned, but he also had this like orb thing where it tells the future, I guess. And he was like, oh, I need to go there now and prevent death. Yes, and then we get to see the, like, in the action scene I mentioned, he fought off the blue flame, and it was awesome and epic. It was pretty cool. Like, it's not the most epic thing ever, but, like, it was pretty awesome. There were also thrust rolls, which was pretty cool as well. But, yeah, so I think that's most of the fan service that I have now, expanding the universe. So, you can have blue flames, I guess, where you can, you know, like, you can have people join your side or you'll disintegrate into pieces. There's like other ministries of magic. It's nice to see that it's nice to see how the Harry Potter series went from Britain, you know, Ministry of Magic. Then there's MACUSA, which is Magical Congress of America. And now there's the French Ministry of Magic. It's nice that they're showing us the different governments in this universe, and also how they have guards that are called Mooncalf, I think, in the Ministry of Magic in France. So that was pretty cool. I do like it how they show us like these other how life is like in other countries. And like I said, I liked it how they added the whole World War II thing. Like, how would the Wizarding World react to events that are happening to us? To us, well, in Britain it's called Muggles, in America, which I live in, it's called Nomad. How would they react to that? Like, how would they react to most of the events? Are they responsible for some of those events, or do these events help influence them or affect them in some way? Like, I'm really curious how they're going to play this all in. But yeah, I think that's most of the fan service that I can talk about. Now let's talk about plot twists. So yeah, this movie really loves plot twists apparently. But here's what I mean. Here are the big plot twists. Well, plot twist number 1 is this. So apparently Credence was a Lestrange, or that he was thought to be a Lestrange. But anyway, like Zovit, like Zusuf says that his mother was like married this other guy, but she was under Imperious curse, so she was forcibly married to this other guy, and she had a son with this other guy, which was Lita, but she sadly died while trying to give birth to Lita. So this other guy, which was a Lestrange, decides to remarry or like marry someone else, and this woman gives birth to a son named Corvus. I think it was called Corvus. So because Zusov's father is pretty angry of how that he took his wife away from him, and that she died giving birth to Lita, he wants revenge. So he made an unbreakable vow to Zusov that he will kill the Corvus Lestrange. And Corvus, he believes that Corvus Lestrange, or Clovis, I forgot his name, but like he says that he thinks it's Credence. But Leah explains how Credence is not Lestrange, because what happened was this. Like Lita explains how like they were moving to America, I think, to give the baby to someone else, because I think they said her mother died. Her mother and father are dead now, so she and the servant that I was talking about earlier in the movie, which was killed by an aura under Grindelwald's orders, like Lita and the servant were like in a ship going to America, I think it was to America. But anyway, what happened was this. It was that the ship was starting to sink, so they had to leave. So they had to leave, but during this, she switched babies with another family without their consent or knowing, because she was annoyed of how like her half brother was kept crying and crying. It kept annoying her. So she switched babies, but due to this action, she actually unintentionally killed her half brother, because the mother that took her half brother was on a different, like they went on a smaller boats, and the other boat that Corvus was in actually sank and he drowned, even with her mother's attempts to save him. So yeah, so she unintentionally killed Corvus, and that was a pretty shocking revelation. I was like, wow, that was a lot of stuff. I do feel bad for Lita. She does really, you do feel bad for her when you hear this whole plot twist. But yeah, the other plot twist is, well, there's more plot twists, like Queenie and Credence joining Grindelwald, which I actually thought was pretty good. I really liked it. And this other plot twist, this is the final one. I think this is the one where people didn't like the most. It's that Credence is a Dumbledore? Let me explain. I think there are some explanations to this theory. One, what if Ariana is an Obscurus, actually? And What if, seeing how Credence is obscures, what if Ariana actually, what if a part of Ariana, actually somehow molded into, Credence? Which would explain why he's an obscurus, and which would explain why there weren't that many obscurus at all. So that could explain how he is, in, I guess, in spirit, Dumbledore's brother. Or, here's another theory. He isn't. Or no, wait, no, sorry, wrong one. I meant to say this. Or he's related to Dumbledore, but he's not his brother, more like a relative or something. Here's one theory, though, that I think makes more sense. Grindelwald is lying. Now, some people are like, why would he lie? Or Grindelwald lying doesn't make sense. It actually does make sense that Grindelwald would be lying. It's because, here's the thing. Grindelwald used Credence when he needed him, but when he no longer needed him, he, dumped him and let him go. He manipulated Credence before, so it would not be far-fetched that he would manipulate Credence by saying, "You're a Dumbledore." He could be lying. He might not even know who Credence's relatives are. So he could just be lying and telling him, "You are a Dumbledore." Yeah, that could be it. That could be it. I think that's the only explanations I can think of. I think the last one I would like the most. It's that Grindelwald was lying. I think that's it. Or someone else said that maybe he doesn't mean Grindelwald, or he doesn't mean that Dumbledore, Credence is a Dumbledore. Maybe he's saying it as brothers, not in terms of related to each other, but more as people, how the wizarding community to him are brothers or something like that. But I think the Grindelwald is lying makes more sense. But yeah, so my final thing I would like to talk about is the title. The title doesn't make that much sense. It's called Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, but what are his crimes exactly? Sure, he killed a bunch of people in the beginning of the movie, killed Lita, and I guess manipulated people to his his army of followers. But the movie isn't too focused on him. It's more focused on Credence. Or it's more focused on whose side will you join. That's what the movie's more... the movie's message is more on whose side will you join than Grindelwald. Grindelwald is not given that much attention, when you really think about it. It's more of Credence and such. So I think this title should have not been Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. It should have been called Fantastic Beasts and Who to Follow. That makes more sense. Because, there's... this story is basically people trying to follow each other, and then it all leads to which side will you join? Will you join Grindelwald's side? Or will you join, Dumbledore's side? Choose one. That's it. That's the premise of the story. But yeah, so that's it. So now we're going to talk about my final thoughts. So when I saw this movie, I really, really loved it. But when I really thought about it, there were some issues I did have, like the title, for instance. That kind of made no sense. I could see that Grindelwald did do some bad things, but it should have been called Fantastic Beasts and Who to Follow. But my other issue is that this character's stories. Now, like I said, each character's plot was pretty cool, actually. It was pretty cool. I really liked all of their stories. I really loved them all. I like Jacob's story, I like Newt's story, I like the whole brother story between Theseus and Newt, and I liked Lita's story. They were pretty good, but my main issue is not, because there's so many, it's the focus on each story is more limited, and because of that, I feel I think I wanted more. that's what I want. I wanted more from each story. Like, I wanted more of Newt and Tina's like relationship. I wanted more of Queenie and Jacob's relationship. I wanted more of Lita. I wanted more of Theseus and Newt's like, relationship as brothers. Like, I just wanted more. That's what I wanted. But that's okay cuz I really loved this movie. This movie was very good. Now the twist, although the twist is like, you know, although the twist did come out of nowhere kind of, I did I was thinking like sure, maybe the twist may be like crazy insane and may go against everything we all know of Harry Potter, but maybe J.K. Rowling has something up her sleeve, or maybe she is actually planning that, and I'm setting myself up for disappointment. But no, like when it comes to J.K. Rowling and plot twists, like let's say for example Snape as the bad guy, like he kills Dumbledore, we're like, oh, F you, Snape. How dare you kill Dumbledore? But then, in the next book, we find out that Snape was actually working with Dumbledore the whole time, and he was actually in love with Harry Potter's mother, Lily. It was his love for Lily that helped the Harry Potter win. So maybe this plot twist, maybe this plot twist is setting up another plot twist, or is setting up for a bigger storyline than we know. It's not gonna. I think it's gonna be more than just Credence is actually Dumbledore's brother. I think it's more than that. So that's why I'm not going to criticize too much of the Credence's twist that he's a Dumbledore, because maybe J.K. Rowling has something, and we'll see. We'll see if she does have something awesome, good, great, complicated, or something. Hopefully it's good though. Now, yeah, so despite those flaws I did have that I mentioned earlier, the movie's really good. The visual effects are pretty good. I liked all the characters. There's still no bad characters in this series at all. Really, there isn't one anymore. Grindelwald used to be one, but now bad characters are up to 0. The visual effects are good. The score was pretty good. And also, I'd like to mention this, the movie's pretty dark. Like, this movie rivals the Deathly Hallows Part 1 movie in terms of dark tone, because compared into Deathly Hallows Part 1, like, Voldemort takes over, they're running away from the bad guys, and Dobby dies. Why? But here, the opening was like, Grindelwald escapes, kills some guys. He also kills many other people as well, like Lita and such. Lita, like, unintentionally killing her brother. All of that. And also that some people chose to join Grindelwald's side, and now it ends in not a happy note like in the Deathly Hallows Part 1. So, this dark tone, although it does, like, I like it. Like, this dark tone, I really like this new dark tone we're starting to get. It isn't going to be like, happy ending, yay. No, it's going to be more serious. We'll see how these 5 movies go. Like, there's 3 left now, but like, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, in conclusion, I really loved the movie. This movie was great. Great visual effects, good characters, great story. Well, good story because, but although characters focus, or stories focus on each character is limited, so wanted more, and twist is a little ridiculous, but that's more like a half or something. But yeah, so thanks to that, I think I'll give this movie I'll give it an A-. That gives it a 9 out of 10. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really love Harry Potter movies and, Wizarding World movies now. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you guys think of the movie? And if you enjoyed this, then, like, say if you liked the movie or not, and tell me what I should review or what I should do. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this movie, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.